Hello everyone, today our group will present about settlement of international disputes through political ways or diplomatic ways. Before we get into that material, we should know what is settlement of international disputes. International disputes refers to a disagreement between two or more states concerning their rights or obligation under the international law. Meanwhile, the settlement of international disputes is the process itself of resolving disagreements between two or more states concerning their rights, obligations, or interests under international law. There are two methods of dispute settlement. The first one, and we're going to talk about, is the political ways. Disputes are resolved through negotiation and cooperation between states without involving judicial institution. It is flexible, non-judicial, and dependent on the good faith of the parties involved. Meanwhile, the other one is the legal dispute settlement, where disputes are resolved through judicial bodies such as the International Court of Justice or ICJ or the International Arbitration, and the decisions are legally binding and enforceable during an international law. And the next one is we got the legal basis of this settlement of international disputes through political ways. The basis is on Article 33, Part 1 of the Charter of the United Nations that argues the parties to any dispute, the continuance of which is likely to endanger the maintenance of international peace and security, shall first of all seek a solution by first negotiation and then inquiry, mediation, conciliation, arbitration, judicial settlement, resort to regional agencies or arrangements, or other means of their own choices. So we know that these methods emphasize on resolving problems with a diplomatic way, in a good way, with negotiation, mediation, and etc. And the next is we're going to talk about 5 forms of political settlement. The first one is a negotiation. Negotiation is a process where the countries involved talk directly to each other to find a solution that both sides can accept. So if a country had an argument, had a tension, they most likely talk to each other to solve that tension. The second one is the good offices. This is a neutral third party helps the disputing countries meet and start discussions, but does not join or influence the talks. For example, if an Indonesia and Malaysia had disagreements on about something, and then the neighbor countries like Singapore can help disputing countries to meet and start a discussion or a negotiation. The third one is mediation. In this part, a third party takes a more active role by joining the discussions and suggesting possible solutions. Not like the previous one, this third party can actually offer the solution about the tension or the problems. The next one is the conciliation. The conciliation is a special commission is formed to study the dispute and recommend a fair way to settle it. Its recommendations are not legally binding, of course, but they can help the parties reach an agreement. The last one is inquiry. Inquiry means that neutral body is created to examine and clarify the facts behind a dispute. It does not decide who is right or who is wrong, but it only provides an accurate information to support further negotiations.
So next, I will explain about role of international organizations and advantages and disadvantages of political channels. First, I'm going to explain about the role of international organizations. International organizations are crucial in maintaining peace and stability worldwide. The United Nations, or UN, as the main global body, operates through the Security Council, which manages international security and can impose sanctions or authorize interventions, and the General Assembly, which serves as a forum for dialogue among member states. The Secretary General also acts as a mediator and oversees the organization's administrations. And regional organizations such as ASEAN, the African Union, and the European Union or EU complement the UN's efforts at the regional level. ASEAN works to reduce tension in the South China Sea through diplomacy and negotiations, while the African Union promotes peace and economic integration across Africa. The European Union coordinates political and economic policies to ensure regional stability. And the second one, I will explain about advantages and disadvantages of political channels. Political channels in dispute resolution are flexible and adaptable to changing situations. They enable states to maintain diplomacy and avoid long, rigid legal procedures. Negotiation can also respond quickly to prevent escalation. However, political solutions are not legally binding, depending heavily on the commitment of the involved parties. If one side refuses to comply, enforcement becomes difficult. Moreover, political resolution often require continuous follow-up, meaning conflicts are rarely resolved in a single step.
For the study case for this topic, I would like to take the South China Sea dispute and how ASEAN tried to solve it. If you guys might wonder, what is the South China Sea dispute? Let me tell you something. South China Sea dispute involve an overlapping territorial claims by some countries, for example, China and several Asian countries such as Philippines, Vietnam, Brunei, and Malaysia. This particular thing has happened for about since at least 1970, if I'm not mistaken. The second one is mediation with China, which resulted in the formation of a code of conduct which serve as guideline for governance and as control of tension in the South China Sea. And yeah, as far as I know, that's two of the major things that the ASEAN tried to solve this South China Sea problem, because it has happened for a long time. After that bit of context, here comes the question: how did the ASEAN try to solve it? Well, the first one is the mediation that encourage a peaceful resolution in accordance with international law. For example, the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, or the UNCLOS 1982, with a direct negotiation and mediation between the concerned countries without any violence and threats. We've come to the conclusion of this topic. The first one is the political approach emphasizes peaceful resolution and international cooperation, because peaceful resolution can maintain world peace, prevent violence and armed conflict, and create order and justice in international relations. Additionally, cooperation between countries is essential to strengthen relations and mutual assistance in various fields for the welfare of society, and regional stability. And the second conclusion is this continues to serve as a vital mechanism for ensuring stability in international relations. Because peaceful resolution and international cooperation continue to be essential pillars for upholding global peace, tackling shared challenge, and driving sustainable growth and development in today's complex international landscape. And I think that's the conclusion that I could present for today.